Hola, Whitney. Where'd you go? Oh my God, what?
Lay down and you'll see.
All right, here we go. I'm gonna do the full-on bed test.
You're gonna break a bone.
Oh, it's really hard. I'm sorry, but it's hard. Not a comfy bed. We're gonna see how well we sleep. I might just go sleep on the beach.
Drug ourselves. Hello everyone. We are making a budget comparison today between Montevideo, Uruguay and Lima, Peru.
And the reason why we're doing this is because I'm a bit of a budget nerd. Plus, we need to stick on budget for all this traveling we do. So we try to spend about less than $4,000, ideally $3,000 per a month. But we actually spent 2 weeks in Montevideo and then 2 weeks in Lima back to back. So between the two cities, we had to fit everything kind of within that budget. And it was a bit easier and not surprising to fit within that budget for Lima, Peru versus Uruguay or Montevideo, Uruguay. And I don't think this is a big surprise to the internet, but we wanted to show you how much further you can stretch your money in a place like Lima versus Montevideo.
Let's begin with the accommodation, which we ended up spending the same amount of money in both cities, Montevideo and Lima. $580 in Montevideo and $582 in Lima, Peru. And when we're looking for accommodation, it's very important for us to have a functional kitchen, like a large kitchen where we can prep, cook, all of it, a washer, because I like to wash our clothes at home, and really good internet because we have to work from home. And so finding all of us in Montevideo was challenging.
Very challenging for the price that we were coming in at. We were like, we'll spend maybe like $500, $600, $700 for 2 weeks, but everything was coming in mostly like at $1,500. So we knew we were choosing like at the lowest option possible. And it was like an apartment on the first level. And you gotta understand something, first level apartments, they're more noisy, they get less sunlight, you don't have a view. It just feels a little bit more dark, right?
Yes.
Right inside. And so it was just a really like very basic apartment with a sort of kitchen, one room with the kitchen, dining space, and living room, poor quality furniture. The stove wasn't even attached to the wall or the kitchen or the cabinets or anything. It was actually a stove that was separate, and it was connected. We didn't notice until a few days in that it was connected to a propane tank underneath the cabinet. And that is also what was giving it a very gassy smell, because we didn't figure it out until like 2 days before we had to check out that there was a switch on top of the propane tank that we could turn off to make it smell less gassy. So we just were breathing in a bunch of propane the entire time.
Yeah.
And it was just very okay. I mean, it was livable.
It was livable, but additionally, the location was not the best. We were not super close to the beach. We were not in like the more trendy, uppity neighborhoods.
Yeah.
It was a lot more middle-class neighborhood.
Yeah, and there weren't like grocery stores immediately nearby. You had to walk a few blocks to get to some decent grocery stores and some restaurants.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like super far. It was like, hey, I gotta take a 10-15 minute walk to find those things. So I was like, for what you get compared to Lima and what we're about to say and show you, it is like, wow, like for the same price, you get a lot more. So Lima, let's talk Lima. The building we were in, let's just talk about the apartment first. The apartment, when you enter it, beautiful, huge kitchen space with lots of things, you know, big refrigerator, new appliances. It was beautiful. The finishings were nice. It was evidently a newer building.
It was super clean, nice,
much bigger.
Nice couch, bigger TV.
That bed was very comfortable in that one. Everything about that apartment was absolutely superior.
The quality of the towels.
The quality of the towels that Airbnb host had, it was just so much better. The only thing it did not have, unlike the Montevideo one, there was a washer in the unit. Instead, we had to use
the laundromat of the building.
The laundromat of the building and the shared laundromat. But on on top of that, the Lima one had amazing amenities.
Yeah.
It had a rooftop with a pool.
With a pool, a
with
gym.
an amazing view. Yeah, it had a gym for us to use, which we used quite a few times. And those were like big pluses for us, especially the gym, since we do go to the gym often. And
Are you gonna talk about location?
Yeah.
The neighborhood?
Barranco.
Yeah. We were in the neighborhood of Barranco and we were like in the middle of everything. Restaurants, there was a grocery store just next door to our building. Parks, the ocean was super close, so we
Yep.
could like get this amazing view every single day, any time of the day. And that made it just a lot more incredible.
No. The only thing I would say in terms of like location that Montevideo has better than possibly Lima is that Montevideo, through the majority of its city, is quite organized and quiet, whereas there are many parts of Lima that are kind of chaotic and you know, just the way people drive is a little bit more
Honking.
just crazy and honking nonstop, you know.
Let's move on to activities, tickets, museum visits, all of that stuff. In Montevideo, we spent
$0. All we did was walk around. We walked the beach and the sidewalk. We walked the city. We went, we're just enjoying all the different buildings, the peace, the quiet. Like, I know this is interesting to say. I'm from Dallas, Texas, so it reminded me of Dallas, Texas because it was kind of like peaceful and quiet the majority of the city.
Tranquil.
Yeah, very, very tranquil. So I did enjoy it for that. But things were just more expensive, so we didn't choose to really do anything there other than enjoy the piece of quiet that the city had. That bird is like chirping really loud. I'm sure y'all can all hear it in the mic.
Go away, birdie.
Leave.
Lima, on the flip side, we got a little bit happy. And we spent $562 in activities.
Yeah, we did 3 things, and one of them we were very excited to do, and that was to do a cooking class in which we learned how to make ceviche,
Causa.
causa, delicious, lomo saltado, and we also boiled or baked. What was the cooking technique called for a bunch of potatoes? It was
It
good.
wasn't quite boiled.
You don't even, they're so watery, you don't even put water in the pot, and you just put them in a pot, and it like, what's that technique called? Steamed. We steamed potatoes.
And we made up a couple of sauces that were,
Really good.
that was a bucket list item that
Yeah.
it was on our list.
Yeah, so we now know how to make ceviche, and that's awesome, and that was worth every soul.
Every soul.
We also did a shantytown tour where we went and visited a community member who helps, you know, just organize people and provide support, and got to experience like a more local market in the Villa
Del Salvador.
Yeah, Villa del Salvador area, and just saw the more like, you know, humble, normal side of Lima, really. That was outside of the tourist area, very far from the tourist area. And then we did our favorite activity of all, which
And the
was,
most expensive one.
and the most expensive one, which was a surfing lesson. So we surfed. We both got on the boards. It was awesome. I've never surfed in my life, and I can't believe I haven't done it more. So any opportunity I have to go surfing again in the future, and the waves are decent, meaning not too crazy, I'm totally getting out there. I loved it. I can see how it is an exhilarating activity for people, and plus I know how to get on the board, so you know, I can go in a straight line, and that's good enough for me. Not trying to do anything fancy, but between all that, we did spend, you know, $500, and it was worth it.
It was worth it.
I don't really remember seeing many waves inside Montevideo.
No, it was so calm.
It was very calm, actually, the beach.
Let's move on to groceries, eating out, and food in general, which is what we love. But in groceries, in Montevideo, we spent $348. And in Lima, we spent $329. But we went to the grocery store in Montevideo 13 times. There were 13 transactions. And in Lima, there were 27 transactions.
And on top of that, what I think is even more fascinating is the highest grocery store bill in Montevideo was $131 for like a bigger grocery store run. But in Lima, it was $57. So I felt like when we were going to the grocery store, we could just get a lot more in Lima and a bigger variety of things because things were a lot more affordable
Yeah.
in terms of produce, and we eat a lot of natural stuff. You know, we mostly clean, organic, and all that. So I mean, your money's going to go further grocery-wise in Lima, hands down.
Except for the red meat, it's more expensive and
Yeah.
they have less.
Yeah, except for the red meat, they don't have as many options as they do in Montevideo, and it was a lot more expensive. So, red meat wise, not as good in Lima, but everything else was much better.
Now for eating out, we spent $323 in Montevideo across 16 transactions. And in Lima, we spent $484 across 18 transactions. But the highest transaction in Montevideo was $54. The highest transaction in Lima was $137.
Yeah, that $137 one, real quick, was us going to a fine dining place and having like a 5-course meal. It was incredible, unforgettable. That food was just amazing. We had no experience like that whatsoever in Montevideo. I feel like it would be like double that price.
In Montevideo, the only nice place we ate at was a tapas, a place, and then all of it we just try to keep it moderate. We went to Armenian places to have kebabs. We went to maybe another kind of nice place was the pho place.
Yeah, we went and had a Vietnamese pho.
Yeah.
And that was good. It felt like the same price as the United States and how much we pay here. We paid for an appetizer and 2 phos, and it was about like $48 or something like that. I remember, and I'm like, that's how much I would spend in Dallas, Texas if we got 2 phos and an appetizer.
Definitely.
But as far as like Lima, the difference really was that we were getting appetizers and desserts almost every time we sat down to eat. And plus
And then your lemonades, because
Yeah.
you love lemonades.
They had lemonade, so I just got like a plain Jane lemonade, no sugar. And then the other difference was like we love Peruvian cuisine, right? So I mean, we were just ordering way more food in Peruvian restaurants versus in Montevideo. So like, although we spent about the same and it was close to the same number of transactions, we were
ate a
actually
lot more.
eating way more
Yep.
in Lima. Pero so Lima wins again on the amount, how far you can spread your money.
I mean, we
What
knew
a
that
surprise.
from the beginning. Let's talk about services, including phone service, Uber's, taxi rides. And in Montevideo, we spent $85 in Ubers/taxis. And that was only 5 transactions.
5 transactions, $85.
In Lima, we spent $57, and that was 11 transactions.
Yeah, so transportation, taxis, Ubers, and all that were much, much more affordable in Lima.
Yeah, in Montevideo, we walked everywhere, because I mean, we needed to save that money. I remember we took an Uber after we walked on the Rambla, and I was just so exhausted I couldn't walk anymore.
Yeah.
But phone service in Montevideo it was cheaper, $14, and in Peru it was $17.
Yeah. Very affordable for phone service. If you know how to shop for phone service, then it's easy to find anywhere you go.
It was a lot easier in Montevideo though. It was a hassle in Peru.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with like places like Peru and Colombia. You spend like, 30 to 45 minutes trying to just get a SIM card, whereas places like, Buenos Aires and Montevideo, it's so much easier to just walk in, say I need a SIM card, and in 10 minutes you're out the door with phone service.
Yeah, and I mean, the difference also is in Montevideo, we were able to get an eSIM, which is like super easy to install. Mm-hmm. In Peru, it had to be a physical SIM.
Insert it.
If we wanted an eSIM, we had to sign a contract. And I was like, well, what's the difference? Well, they just made it more complicated.
That's it. That's the only difference. They just make it more complicated because they can.
In total, we ended up spending $1,467 in Montevideo, which ended up being $48.91 per day. And in Lima, we ended up spending $2,000.32, which ended up being $67.74 per day.
Yeah, but for a month, in a month's perspective, you know, we spent 2 weeks in each one of these cities. We were right on budget. We spent about $3,500. And so I feel good about that.
I feel really good about that. I think we had a lot of fun in Lima. We let ourselves loose, but we created really good lifetime memories together, and I think that's totally worth it.
Yeah. So let us know what you thought of all our numbers and if you thought this was helpful or not in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.